Hey friends, Dan Prozowski from allaboutminibikes.com, and sorry I've been away from you with new videos. It's not like I've wanted to. I'm always on mini bikes and doing things, but I can't get anybody to. There's usually nobody around to videotape me. In fact, as you can see, I'm doing this again by myself. But I'm gonna start doing it that way, and/or get a stand and a hookup so I can start doing things. Because one of the things I wanted to show you was how I fixed uh, the forks springs, replace fork springs on my 1970 Minico Ramjet, which is not an easy thing to do. One of the biggest issues you can have when you're trying to work on a bike that's doing a restore is if you break a piece on there, especially if it's a machined piece, you're not going to find another one, and then you have to find somebody that can make it and make it to the specifications, and that can be really, really hard and really, really troubling. And that was part of the issue that I was trying to avoid with this. You cannot get springs for this. I went everywhere, I looked everywhere, I went online, I Googled, I took the advice from everybody or info that they gave me, and I looked, but eventually I found a place in Toledo that somebody bought out springs from an old spring company that had all kinds, all sizes, because we're so close to Detroit, there was a lot going on with the car companies and that. And so I made something work. And so here's part of what I've got. Well, it's in this bag right here is the original spring. It's kind of really greasy and oily. That's why it's in the bag. And that's the one I pulled out. It's very, very high tension. Really, really hard to squeeze. It's about 5.5 inches long, I think. Cannot get one like it. This right here spring has the same OD-ID, but there's no way with the tension. So when I bought that one, I knew it wasn't going to work. So then I went and I got this size, which the ID, and of course the OD and the ID were larger, but it has more tension. So I'm thinking, yeah, that should work for sure. Yep, just drop that spring. Right here, this nut, bolt, screw, I'll call it, really the screw's got to come out of there. And what there's a piece up in here that this bolts into. And that piece also goes into the very top of the spring. That's why the ID has to be the same, because it screws into it, just like it does on a Honda Z50. If you ever want to know the setup on it, it's the same as a Honda Z50. Same thing at the bottom. You pull it out and it's right in there, so it's got the same screw. Sleeve fits right up in there off that arm. So what happened was I knew this would not be strong enough, and I'd use this. And I cut off a little bit more. That was I think it's 5.25, and I think I went with 7 on here. I got it on there, although I knew it was loose at the top where the bolt goes in the screw. And I put it on, and it was no way. It was too mushy. You could just push in, it would bottom out. So I'm like, okay. Had a second idea. I took the spring, which is about 11 inches long, and I put the whole spring on it. When I got in there, well, it extended it so far up the fork that it couldn't even go down. In fact, if anything, it would have busted the forks because it couldn't go down. It couldn't compress itself. So I pulled it back out, and I had the idea. Hey, I knew this one fits into here. I could screw it inside to this one. So that's what I did. And I went with about 7.5 inches, and it worked. I've got it here. Now I can still push down and bottom it out, so I know I could have probably kept about 2 more inches on the spring. But hey, it's working right now, and I'm really, really happy with that. I just had a chance to go out and get some video, so I'm hoping to do that next week. Get a buddy of mine, and we'll get out there, ride, throw it in the truck, and we'll do some on the Yosino. It'd probably bottom out off the jumps. I just know it probably will. But I don't know if I'm going to ride it that hard. At 64 years old, you don't want to fall and bust a bone or anything. They're hard to replace. But one of the other reasons why is I want to re-gear this the way it should originally. I know this isn't original gearing. One of the gears has got to be wrong because I have more top end speed than my brother's Trail Jet. And when we were kids, I had the Ramjet, he had the Trail Jet, and they both ran the same speed. Not a lot of top end, but boy, it could really, really pull as this one does once it gets going. So I want to get it torqued back up that way to be able to do some hill climbing and that if I can find some bigger hills. And what I also love about it is this. It's got those back pegs. And when you stand up, you get on the back pegs, you can do anything with it then. So I really like that. If you tried to do it on the front pegs, no way, you would fall off. But we love the back pegs. So anyway, I've got going on, that's the project. Besides that, I've got to put a new carb on the Motovox, and I've got a Little Red Racer that's running really good. I have no issues with that whatsoever. And I want to get that out riding around a little bit and get some on that. I've also got another project that's coming on. Not a project, a bike I'm getting. And you're going to love to see when I get that bike. So I'm hoping and praying that I end up getting that bike because it's one I really, really want. And other than that, that's what's going on. So you guys got questions? Hey, email, put things in the comments. Please subscribe. Tell your friends about us. We're trying to go. We're still trying to make our Little Red Racer. We're trying to manufacture it. That honestly right there is just all about the money. Coming up with the money to be able to buy X amount of tubing and bending and all that kind of fun stuff. But anyway, thanks for supporting us when you do. Go to our site, allaboutminibikes.com. We do have our stickers for sale. We got new shirts out there. It's even got the same logo. I don't think you could see it, but it's got it on the back too. We don't have them up for sale, but I'm going to get them up there. Right now, we've got about 4 of them that are extra larges, but that's all we've got right now. So working on getting small, medium, large, and extra large. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please share with your friends. You got questions, comments, leave them, and I really appreciate that you guys watch them. And send us your pictures of your mini bikes and things like that you build. Put it in the comments section. People always love to hear that. Thanks for watching. You guys have a great time and ride those mini bikes.